and welcome. You're with India Post Live, India's first live and interactive news conversation web TV. I'm Prachi Jatanya. It's interesting to note that marriage being a deeply personal issue, over the last couple of years, matrimonial websites have tried every business model to attract prospective customers and clients looking for a match. And there are two websites that will be interestingly talked about on our show today. They have taken up a different strategy, a different route to try and look beyond stereotypes, to break a very typical stereotypical method of people using online matrimonial sites to find a match that they're looking for, a partner to share their lives with. The websites have taken up a more of a new age kind of a technique to get more personal and pragmatic in their approach so that the clients that use these matrimonial websites get a more personal touch, and these are young people, these are educated people and want to make sure that they get something customized, and there's some sort of a scientific method to the entire search for love. Take a look.
What is the best way to get married? Is there an appropriate age? A particular caste? Maybe the mother tongue? Even the religion? How important are these questions when you want to get married? Not really. Then why are these the first questions that any matrimonial site asks you when you register with them? Two brand new matrimonial websites are trying to break the stereotypes in matchmaking. Overlooking caste, age and community, they talk about the idea of modern love. Instead of sharing horoscopes and biodata, they share life goals and hobbies. So are we finally choosing compatibility over community? And is young India really getting over age-old stereotypes?
So it's a new age way of trying to find love online, modern love. To take this discussion forward on India Post Live, we have in the studio Ms. Shreen Gupta, who's a content strategist of Drizzlin, which is a social media marketing company. Right. And also we have Ms. Chulika Bhandari, who's a marriage and relationship counselor. Thank you both for joining us in the studio for India Post Live at the conversation. We will also have very, very special guests on Google Hangout joining us from different cities to make this a very lively and engaging discussion. I'll just come to you, Ms. Shreen. You worked on a new website, trulymadly.com. Right. Their posts on the kind of marketing strategy to launch the website has really got a lot of rave reviews. It's catching a lot of eyeballs. Could you tell us, because the marketing strategy is completely different, they've got young people to pose for photographs that break stereotypes, that right. They read books. If I wear pink, I'm not necessarily gay. What was the thought process behind this strategy for Truly Madly?
Okay. Firstly, the simple fact that Truly Madly itself is a website that breaks stereotypes. The whole idea of going after love and not religion or caste or even say income is a little different in India right now, because mostly pundits and auntie-jis are in the matchmaking business. And also Truly Madly is not about marriage, it's about matchmaking. So it's about people who are seriously looking for love. Right? So essentially the core idea behind this was how to actually show people that it's not that rare to break a stereotype. It's not something that is so special or something that is so uncommon in society. It happens everywhere. You just have to look beyond it. That's one. And secondly, when a user joins the TM platform, the Truly Madly platform, you actually don't search on the basis of caste. You actually don't have the option to say, feed in that I want someone who is 5'11", a Hindu, a Brahmin, and an engineer. Because that's not what love is all about. It's not about someone's stats. So we needed to communicate a way in which people would understand that you have to look at a person from a different lens, and you have to understand that that person is not just an engineer. So if he's an engineer, he could be designing jeans, for example, or be a makeup artist. So all of that really goes into the heart and soul of Truly Madly, which is why we decided to do this. And also the people we featured are actually not on the platform. They're friends, they're family, they're people we know who are exceptional in their fields.
Okay, very interesting. I'll speak to you, Chulika. What do you think about the concept of matchmaking sites or matrimony sites now trying to look beyond just the basic criteria of filling up a form while you register? They're also appealing to a younger generation, because the earlier websites that have been around for almost a decade now, they used a very stereotypical approach or a very tried and tested formula. But newer websites are trying to, break that mold, looking at different approaches.
Definitely, it's a very innovative concept. It's a new concept, and I would really appreciate the effort that Truly Madly did to create such a concept because it is very much needed in India. Because India may, it's all about stereotypes, it's all about society. But actually, people don't realize that in the end, when things go bad, society doesn't come to help us. It's we who have to make that effort, and if we don't connect with a person, then we will never make those efforts. So it's all about connecting with a human being as a as a partner. It is important to connect, not as a caste, not as a creed, not as a that this person is an engineer or I am a doctor, so I should marry a doctor. So this is a very basic stereotype which is there. A doctor should marry a doctor because then they can open a clinic or a hospital together and then take this forward. It's not always about a doctor and an engineer can be together and have a very happy married life. In fact, they would have more to talk about. They would have new things to learn about. For if my personal view is taken, that I would personally feel if I marry a psychologist, my life will be very stagnant. So I would definitely want a person from a different career, and people should look beyond their own limitations, their own perspectives to see what is there outside, and definitely anything new is anything, which creates spice to your life, which creates innovation to your life.
Very interesting. I'll bring in Anil Kumar, who's joining us from Chennai. He's the founder of Jodi365.com. Also, a very interesting matchmaking website. Anil, can you tell us, there is an algorithm also you use, and it's a completely different strategy of getting clients who actually, you want your personal approach in finding a match for themselves.
Yeah, first of all, Prachi, thanks for having me on the show. I'm really excited to be part of this discussion. It's a sign of the times, and I want to start by putting things in perspective. Uh, for generations, marriage has been about different things. People have wanted comfort, they have wanted security, they wanted stability, they wanted a sense of community. But you think about how youngsters today are more independent. They can take care of themselves, whether they are male or female, and they're looking for more than just what people have been looking for in earlier generations in a marriage, not just security, not just financial stability. So couple this with something else. You talk about youngsters, right? Half the country is below 26, if you
Right.
go by the census data. And they aren't quite looking for what their parents were looking for. So yes, we did a lot of listening. What is it that people are looking for when it comes to finding a match? What is it about the existing, the stereotypical matrimonial sites weren't appealing to them? So yes, we factored all of those into a proprietary matching algorithm. It's a patent pending algorithm, but it's goes beyond just the matching. It's about understanding what is it that people want, what is it that they may be acceptable with, because in life you make trade-offs. And the last thing is that it's not just about putting two people in front of each other, having them or having the families or interested individuals exchange the quote-unquote bio data.
And
Our
you have,
approach is more.
yeah, and Anil, you have your own marriage success story. In fact, did you at all use Jodi 365, or was your, the way you found your partner in life that actually inspired you to look at Jodi 365 as a concept, as a business model?
I was already building Jodi 365 when I met my wife, but I had to thank the site for meeting my wife. So I was transplanted from Chicago in Chennai, attending an MBA networking dinner. When she also happened to be there, we had a pleasant evening, and I reached out to her, and we met again a few days later, and yeah, we just clicked. And I want to credit the site for bringing us together, but if it weren't for the site, if it weren't for our being in the same place at the same time, yeah, so Jodi 365 was responsible for that.
Great. I'll just bring in Monal Mishra, who joins us from Mumbai. Monal, what are your views on new age matchmaking sites, and what would be your criteria in, actually becoming a client or registering these, matchmaking websites? What will be your top criteria and focus?
Uh, to answer that question, I'll go slightly back into how I came to Jodi 365. Being in India, I have been through my fair share of, your typical arranged marriage route, wherein, as someone mentioned, the pundits and the aunties, forwarding the prospective partners. I was a member of your Bharat and Jeevan Sati and Shadi. my parents would look at the match, but somewhere, I would always find a lack that, there's something that is, lacking in terms of finding the correct life partner, or, in the way of going and since it was more of an arranged marriage kind of a setup, so you were expected to give an answer probably in a meeting or a couple of meetings, wherein, it's very difficult to really understand the person, and it's very difficult to take a call in terms of it would work out, not work out. So, one of my friends, about a couple of months back, he suggested that, there's something like this and there. So, why don't you, just register in there? My first reaction was another matrimonial site, but then I was like, what the heck, since I'm there on a couple of other ones, so I might as well try this. So that's how I first came on Jodi 365. When I registered with them and went through the entire registration process, uh, what really appealed to me about it was the fact that it addressed the need that was there, but no one was really looking at it, right? Something very small, right? Dowry. Uh, that is something which is very prevalent in India. No matter how much we say that, people have moved on, there's still a significant population of people who, accept it. So I'm on principle against dowry. So, and typically in an arranged marriage setup, it used to be very difficult to even convince your parents that it shouldn't be done, because then my value as a person in that relationship doesn't exist. So herein I got a site wherein it said deal breakers, and one of the things it said dowry, and I was like, it was so much of a freedom that you could just come out and say that, look, it doesn't work for me, so I don't really have to, right, take it beyond that to someone who wants it. So you could probably be happy with someone who is there. So one, it gave freedom to express what inherently were your deal breakers, and I think uh, this I had like when I was discussing things with my girlfriends. One thing we all had agreed upon is if the deal breakers, which is typically two or three every person has. So the deal breakers are the critical parameters. So once you get those out of the way, rest of the things you can probably punch and manage through.
Right.
And typically, most of these matrimonial sites or the arranged marriage setup, the deal breakers is something which is never discussed.
I- I'll bring in Miss Tulika on this point. Ma'am, that's what you were actually pointing out. You were saying that there are some things topics which nobody even discusses on these online matchmaking sites. It gets overlooked. It's always put under the carpet or never even spoken about, even if you meet in person, because people, or the partners or prospective bride or groom, are always feeling hesitant because it's sort of an arranged setup. It's a very formal meeting that they probably have after exchanging information online. So what Monal is actually pointing out is very interesting. Would you like to elaborate?
Yes, the thing is, when we meet someone in an arranged setup, even if it is an arranged meeting, not through matrimonial website or something, it's always about what are the expectations of the family, what are the expectations from the social expectations and everything. They are not able to talk about the personal expectations they have from each other as a partner. What is their idea of a partner? What is their idea of being with someone, connecting with someone? What is their idea of loving someone, basically? So in the end, that's what happens. In the end, the fights are all about the family. The fights are all about the social things. And there are a lot of cases which we get, जिसमें people say that अगर हम दोनों को अकेले रख दिया जाए तो there are no fights.
Right.
But whenever a third person is involved, then there's a fight.
Right.
So it's maximum fights are about इसने ये कह दिया, उसने वो कह दिया, तुमने मेरा stand क्यों नहीं लिया
Misinterpretation of
उस time पे?
communication.
Yeah. So
Like she was talking about deal breakers.
Yes.
What about you personally? You're not married. Would you look at these matchmaking websites and actually prefer that what Monal said, to list out deal breakers, things that you are principally against, and from day one, so that you can filter those kind of people and only ones who agree with you?
Definitely, and take the case of Truly Madly, there's a personality test. And of course, there's an algorithm that goes behind it. So when you sign up, you're answering certain questions like how you would react in a fight, what your opinions are about certain important things in life. And those actually help Truly Madly match the person better, which essentially results in someone who's on the same plane as you, on a certain level. So going back to your question about whether I definitely would, because when you think about social media in general, social media is definitely all about matchmaking. It's about you connecting with old friends, sometimes a spark can light up. Anything can really happen. So Truly Madly or any other platform where someone's looking for a match is essentially where you go with a purpose. So if and when I have a purpose and I have a requirement, I'd be more than happy to.
Do you have any concerns with the online social media forum or online sites for matchmaking in terms of fake accounts, people pretending? Are there
Right.
any concerns? Because Ms. Tulika also pointed that out in terms of, having certain reservations about using online matchmaking sites. As a personal, view, would that be of any sort of a...
Yeah. So I'm not really concerned about safety anymore because I work so closely with Truly Madly and they have a very, very stringent verification process. You have a trust score. So you're uploading stuff like your salary slips, a government approved identity. I mean, how much can you even fake, right? So when a website is asking you for so much, you know that it's the real deal. Firstly, and I think the only reason people shy away from going online is the whole ego behind log kya kahenge. If my cousin is on the platform, sees my picture, people will laugh at me and all of that. But I think that's going away slowly because people are understanding that it's really time to take things into your own hands. And if you rely on your parents, you're ultimately going to blame them. So you don't want them to be responsible for your life, for your entire lifespan. They're not paying your bills. Why should they be choosing your partner?
Right. I'll bring in Prateek also, who's worked on the content for the digital campaign for Truly Madly. Could you share your views on the entire online matchmaking site scenario and how new age, youngsters or people looking at a match are actually expecting something different in terms of the criteria for selection?
Yeah, sure. Firstly, thanks for having me over. It's a great pleasure to be on the show. See, we've been working with Truly Madly for the last few months and seen the entire industry very closely, seeing what other websites are there and services being offered. So, in terms of the need of people and the perception of the next generation towards this whole idea of finding a partner online, I can safely say that Truly Madly offers every possible feature, and being it finding a compatible person or finding a real person. The biggest issue is which most people face, and because of which they don't trust these websites, is the extensive usage, the misuse of these websites. Married people going online, finding a partner, and then leaving them. You hear so many cases,
Right.
but we've actually managed to bring in such tight controls that these problems rarely occur.
But Pratik,
Secondly,
when you did the research for the particular marketing campaign with Drizzlin, the company
yeah.
that you work for, what was the other research or what were the findings in terms of the other websites that are already existing and are being, popularized through very mass media campaigns and a lot of money being pumped in through television commercials for the popularity of these other matrimonial sites? So, what were the findings that disappointed people or kept them away from these websites?
So I'll be very honest with you. Truly Madly is attempting something very unique in this country, and there are very few websites who have the same model. Essentially, in India, matchmaking or finding a serious partner is a new concept. The market is not yet ready for it. So you'll see a lot of matrimonial websites offer, you know, services to find a spouse, but very few websites offer a service to find a match you can get to know before you decide to tie the knot with them. So the biggest concern was, of course, safety, because you're sharing a lot of personal data online. You're risking a lot of your privacy to find that person, and you're at the mercy of these spammers and
Right.
people who abuse online. So that was the biggest concern.
Right. I'll just bring in.
Second,
I'll just bring in Anil at this point. Anil, you also have been talking about safety concerns and the anonymity factor. You also put a very very keen eye in terms of filtering the kind of clients who register with Jodi 365. What was your biggest challenge in trying to filter people and getting only serious candidates to use the website?
I wouldn't say that we face a challenge. We make it challenging for these fraudsters and mischief mongers to come onto the platform. So, and this is something that we pioneered a few years ago. Uh, and some of these points that we have to say about Jody 365, I'm pleased to see echoed by Truly Madly. And it's great that if this turns out to be the norm, it's better for people at large. So what works for us, what works for the users on our site, the authentic users on the site, is that we have an inherent self-selection mechanism at work. If someone comes on, they can't expect to browse profiles without being on the site. We contrast this with other sites. They put pictures of pretty women, handsome men, saying, "Come, look at what's in the store for you." Right? Your information is compromised. They release these profile data to search engines, all in the hopes of going up in the search rankings. We don't play those games. Someone's profile would be seen only by people who are already on the site, people who match your preferences, and whose preferences you match. So it's not as if someone can think, oh, it's okay, let me create an account in 2 seconds, let me create a profile in 20 seconds and be chatting with some vulnerable, impressionable person in 2 minutes. They had to go through a 12-page questionnaire at a minimum. And what happens is that the ones who are not serious realize that, well, let me go fish elsewhere. So this really works for us in ensuring that the people who are on the system are more serious about finding a match.
Right. I'll just bring in Monal at this point. Monal, what was, did it make you comfortable to see that Anil had put up a video on the website, given it a personal touch of how he found his partner in life, given it a different kind of an customized approach in using for people or users of Jodi 365? Did that make a difference for you? And do your parents at all, are they curious about the website you use for finding a match? Or do they feel that going with the traditional approach is, is safer?
Uh, as far as Anil's video was concerned, so it did kind of, help to make up my mind in terms of, going ahead with creating a profile. As far as parents are concerned, uh, it also took a bit of a attitude shift in him in terms of the approach. One thing that I truly believe the difference wherein a truly madly or a Jury 365 differs from your Bharat or your Shadi or your Jeevan Sati is in the fact that these three matrimonial sites is still to a greater extent controlled by parents, right? So you don't have the guy or a role, coming and talking first. So again, when you go through that loop, so again, things like, caste, your religion, or something as basic as eating preferences, gets in the way, right? And there are couples, a large number of them, where in because they have an inherent compatibility, things like religion, like staying in Bombay, I have seen a lot of Christian to Hindu, Hindu to Muslim, Muslim to Christian kind of matches, and they work like really well. So that's where one of the key differentials between your Jodi or a truly madly is, because you get to talk to the prospective guy or the girl first and understand each other better as a person. Now coming back to parents, uh, initial objections were there. It's like a dating website, and probably you'll be dating and you'll be meeting with so many guys, and probably that's the kind of a negative perception you'll be spreading about yourself, and the typical traditional Indian mindset. So it took a couple of months of getting them to understand that, look, no, it's not like that, and this is where it differs. And if you want me to be happy, you want me to find a good life partner, so this is just a tool that's been given to me. So if it makes you comfortable, probably I'll take you through the website a couple of times so you know and see and probably be aware of the people that I would be meeting or interacting with. So
Right.
yeah, but my parents are open-minded, but still it took
Some convincing.
convincing to do.
Monal, I'll just ask you before you go, the top three deal clinchers for you. You spoke about dowry being a deal breaker. What would be your top three deal clinchers in finding a soulmate or a life partner?
uh, I think I have only top two. Someone who is very open-minded and accepting of the other person. It's like
Great, great. I'll just bring in Ms. Tulika. Isn't it heartening to know that there are specific matrimonial sites now for for the homosexual community, for those suffering from HIV? You know, they are being initiated by the social communities that give them a support system. Isn't it heartening to know that?
Yes, definitely. You have it's heartening in the sense that people who are homosexuals or who are suffering from HIV, they don't get, they don't feel aloof, they don't feel out of the community. When they have a set of people, they know that they are, they are having those specific problems also. And I would not call homosexuality as a problem here, okay?
Of course.
So I would, where HIV is concerned, then they are aware that there are other people also who have fallen in the trap of that HIV wala thing, and they have people to talk to, they have people to relate to. And where as far as homosexuals are concerned, yes, definitely it's a heartening thing for them also, that okay, they they are not being rejected from they are not being boycotted from the society, and there are people who can understand them, they can talk to them. And in these homosexual sites, they get they get their partners also, they have a lot of people to connect to basically. And human relationships are all about connection. It's not about caste, it's not about creed, it's not about who you are as a, what your color is, what your caste is. It's about what you are as a human being and how you see other person as a human being.
On that interesting note, just take a look at this brand new campaign that we've managed to get through Scoop Whoop. It's a very interesting concept of photography, and this was done by Drizzlin, the social media campaign managers for Truly Madly. So you can take a look at what exactly, they've managed to get the photographs of ordinary people, trying to send out a message that marriage cliches need to be broken. You need to look beyond and actually appreciate the individuality and the personality of the person whom you would want to settle and choose as your life partner. So you can see very interesting anecdotes here of somebody, saying, I'm a Jat and I read Karl Marx. He is actually in his study room. There is somebody saying, I am from UP or main gali nahi deta. So these are kind of cliches that society actually, doesn't let you break out of. But the campaign is actually garnering a lot of response from all kinds of people, especially on the social media platform. Tell me, was it difficult to get people to, think beyond their stereotypes while you are actually putting down the content and, copywriting it?
Not exactly, because this is something that we face every single day. For example, I'm from a girls' college, so I must either be a lesbian or a super feminist. Every man I meet will definitely say, oh, you're from LSR. But we're actually just people who have strong opinions. That's it.
And who express them.
Of course, and it's healthy to express your opinions. So we spoke to a lot of people. These are mostly friends and family. Let me say it again, that they are not members on Truly Madly except for a few. And some people actually, after seeing the first few pictures of our campaign, signed up on Truly Madly. They said that they want to be a part of the campaign as well. And it's been quite interesting because we, from first impression, so for example about Prateek, who's the project manager for this particular campaign, he's from UP. So he's from a small town called Hapur. So the first thing that comes to your mind when you know of someone who lives in UP is that bahut gali deta hoga. He must be driving really fast. Right? Stuff like this is what we try to go into the polar opposite of. So mine was actually that I love to shop, but my dad is not my ATM. And we try to definitely keep our stereotypes centered towards what people would think about before choosing a match. Right? So someone might say that I don't want to marry a Jat because they're absolutely uncouth, which is absolutely not true.
Not all of them are.
Not all
Let's
of them.
not generalize.
Yeah.
Right. I'll just bring in Anil at this point. Your last views, we'll take forward this conversation on our Twitter handle @IndiaPostLive and our website. It's a very engaging discussion with varied opinions coming in about finding life partner or finding love online. Anil, Jodi 365, it's been around for a bit now. What is any interesting anecdotes, when you interact with people or clients using it and success stories that you'd want to share with us?
So it's nice when people write to us and tell us that they want to be taken off the site. We understand this, right? That's the nature of the business. The more successful you are in helping someone find a match, the sooner they don't need your services. And that's fine with us. But if it comes to the last word, I'd like to part with this. It's true that we've gone about introducing a different kind of service which really takes into account what young men and women in India and in other countries want, people of Indian origin want. But it's important to keep in mind that the notion that opposites attract is a dangerous notion. While it may be good to be open-minded to finding someone who is compatible, who matches your personality, and we help with that too, uh, it's a dangerous thing to go about looking for someone different just because you're open to the idea. It's important to keep in mind that similarities are the biggest predictor in lasting relationships. It doesn't mean that you toss everything out. I'll leave it at that. Because this is serious business, I'll leave it at that.
Great, great. Monal, one final word from you. Anil says similarities are something that will keep it, the spark going maybe longer or work in a positive way. So, do you think an opposite still attract? Would that be something that would keep you engaged?
Not complete opposites. You need to have certain amount of similarity, at least in terms of your main values or the outlook towards life. Wherein dissimilarity adds to the relationship is when you have different interest areas. I'll quote Shahid Kapoor. I had just heard him on Anupama Chopra's show, and that was something that I really liked or could relate to. So he said something like, I want to marry a very normal person outside of the Bollywood industry because I need to be connected to the real world. And, working in the Bollywood, you're no longer sure what, the reality outside is. And to which he was questioned that, would she understand the pressures or whatever it is in life? So his response was that if two people are, keen on working on a relationship, they take pains to understand each other, what makes them tick or what makes them work. So a dissimilarity then adds an interest to the relationship, but yeah, a dissimilarity in terms of the values and outlook towards life probably then becomes like difficult to work through.
Great, Monal. We wish you a lot of luck and best wishes on finding true love. We'd love to know through Jodi 365 when you do find your soulmate or a match. Good luck with that. I'll just let Pratik, sign off. What is your last comment in terms of the new age matchmaking sites? Would you personally be, more open to looking at modern love and using online sites?
Oh yes, of course. I think there are very exciting opportunities ahead, especially with more and more people deciding to find their own partner and not leaving it to other people. So I'm really looking forward to how this industry pans out in the near future, and being part of a platform itself, I can say that we'll be directly contributing to shifting this mindset.
Great.
That it is possible to find love online.
Great. Shifting mindsets. One last comment from you as a relationship counselor is it's an encouraging sign of times, but also any word of caution you'd want to give young couples who use these sites?
Yes, definitely. I would tell everyone ki you have to go with what you feel inside rather than what you see outside, because in the end you have to live with that person. And yes, definitely these websites are doing a great job filtering, what you don't want, what you want in your life and everything. But you have to meet that person, talk to that person, see how you relate to that person as a partner. Okay, that is very important. Yes, definitely the personality test and being open-minded, no dowry, these things matter. These things matter, these are a parameter. But ultimately you have to decide what on the basis of what you feel for that person, how you connect to that person.
Okay.
And that is very important. That is a word of caution I would give. Have a lot of meetings before getting married to someone, have a lot of conversations.
Okay.
And the points of conflicts you need to talk about. If you can talk it right now, then you can talk about it later or also after marriage. If you cannot talk about it right now, then yes, definitely you will have problems post-marriage talking about it, definitely.
Great. Yeah. So on that note, we'll take this lively discussion forward on our Twitter handle and our Facebook page, also on our website, indiapostlive.com. Modern love, keep the communication channels open. Key factor would be look at the human being inside and not just the cliched and the stereotypes. Break them, look beyond that, look for the individual and similarities to express and have an opinion. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us on this very interesting conversation about modern modern love and matchmaking online. Thank you so much, Anil Kumar from Chennai, Monal Mishra from Bombay, Mumbai also for joining us via Google Hangout. Take forward with your Twitter comments and feedback on our website, and keep watching IndiaPostLive.com. Goodbye.